Hey, coaches. Coach E here with 8-Man Breakdowns. Let's get started. Today, we're going to be talking about the 8-man version of Power Read. So I'll be showing you a couple ways to run Power Read out of two formations. Personally, I don't use a lot of Power Read, but the more I've studied and experimented with it over the years, the more I actually really like it. We have ran a variation of the inverted veer, which is some basic gap scheme blocking, but honestly, we didn't really commit to it enough and ended up going away from it. But with that, let's get into the 8-man translation here of the Power Read. So with the Power Read, we'll start here in a Twins formation first, with the defense once again in a 3-2 look. So on our first Power Read here, our entire O-line, except for the pulling left guard, is going to run our gap scheme angle block down to the left. All right, so we'll go left to right here, starting with the O-line here. So we'll start with the Y. The Y is looking to protect this B gap at all costs on his side. So in this case, if the DN were to crash into the B gap, or if that linebacker were to blitz into the B gap, he's responsible for pinching down and blocking off the B gap. Okay, that's the Y's job. Now the left guard, like I said earlier, he's the only one that's not running that angle gap scheme. He's pulling. The left guard is going to pull around quickly to bluff the right D end here and take care of the right linebacker. Now, this is personal preference. It's whatever you like. You could pull them around the D end to the outside or underneath, like I have drawn up here. I would say it's probably going to depend on scouting to see where their linebackers will be. If they're up tighter, he's probably going to have to go underneath. If they play off, you can probably go around, or just how good they are at reading the line and the play. If they step up quick too, he might have to go underneath. Either way, anyways, it's going to be personal preference in the end, what you tell your guys to do and what you practice. So there you go. There's the left guard. Now we get into the center and the right guard. So in this case, the right guard is the only one that's going to help anybody. And he doesn't necessarily have to, but if the center does need help on the nose, the right guard is going to help with him before he gets to the backside. And the center's full responsibility is the left A gap here to keep the nose out of it. All right, because the Y is going to help with this B gap with the guard pulling. Center's got to get that gap. In this case, the right guard has the right A gap. So if this linebacker were to blitz, he would take him first, and then this guy is going to come around looking for the next linebacker. All right. Worst case scenario, they blitz both linebackers, or worst case scenario, they blitz them both, but either way, your guard's responsible for picking them up here, and the Y pinches down here. You could still run it and it'd still have a good read off the D end. He would end up probably just going to the next level of safety, I guess, in that case. Okay, so there's the O-line action. All right. So now, at the same time that all is going on, the tailback now is aiming for the inside hip of our slot receiver on the stretch handoff. Okay, he's going outside no matter what because it's a true read. So the quarterback is reading it, the DN, the play side DN post snap, right? The DN, if the DN sits still or squeezes down inside at all, it's an automatic give. He's going to hand it off to the tailback. He's going to bounce to the outside, get upfield. All right, if the DN widens at all and honors or takes the tailback at all, then that's where the quarterback will keep the ball through the void that was created by the DN widening out. So there you go. And then the F and the X, I didn't even put them blocking on here. I would say you could just have them run a route. Honestly, I'd probably say X runs an outside release. F could maybe try to go get the safety, fake like he's running a quick slant right there, going to the safety. But yeah, so there you go. There's the first look of Power Read out of Twins. That's I think a great play you could run here in 8-man. You don't see it very often, but I think this would be an excellent play to use if you're some sort of outside inside zone, or if you pull a guard at all and read anything, maybe you could look into adding a Power Read to it. All right, let's move on to the next formation. So next we have an empty spread formation here. Just like the Twins look though, on this Power Read, our entire O-line is blocking down in our gap scheme angle block, except for our guard. In this case, the right guard pulling, and everyone's blocking down to the right rather than the left, like the last one. All right, so now the left guard is the one here. We'll start left to right. Left guard is the one here responsible for the left A gap. He's going to double up with the center back to the backside linebacker if needed. If it's not needed, he'll just go straight to the backside linebacker and get here to the middle, seal him off to that side. Okay, so center is taking care of the backside A gap. guard, right guard now. He's the one that's pulling again, going to bluff the DN. On this case, I put him going around and arcing around. But once again, personal preference or practice or defensive reading the defense and scouting them, the linebackers, you could go underneath, whatever it takes. I just put it outside in this particular drawing. And then the Y is once again responsible for that backside B gap. So the D end, if he crashes or if the linebacker blitzes, he's going to have to kind of step in, have his eyes ready inside out, protect the inside first. Then the only other action that's going on here, X and F can block head up on their corners. And now we have the tailback motioning across. And after the tailback has motioned, he's now aiming for that inside hip of the X receiver on the stretch handoff in this case. So this is where you'd have to practice your mesh point off of your, kind of slow it down, or maybe not going full speed on his motion here. Whatever you practice is going to be what works though. So then again, the quarterback's going to read that place ID. And if he sits still or squeezes down inside at all, this is where we're going to have the give. He's just going to give it off. If he widens at all, the quarterback is once again just going to keep the ball through that void created by the widening defensive end. All right. So there you go. Pretty basic stuff. Quick rundown of a couple power read plays here out of twins in an empty formation, both in a 3-2 look. In this case, a team could potentially go into a different look when you go empty, but there you go. There's a look at how you can run power read against a 3-2 a couple ways, an 8-man. All right, here I got one quick film study cut up here for you. So a quick GIF cut up look at how Oregon ran the power read last season against Ohio State. So you can see number 53, the right guard is the one that's pulling to bluff the left DN and lead to the outside. It's a GIF, so it's going to keep recycling and reworking. So watch 53 pulls, he bluffs the right DN or the left DN and leads to the outside on this play. At the same time here, the tailback number 7, that's CJ Verdell. He begins a stretch handoff path to the boundary, while number 13, Anthony Brown, the quarterback, is actually reading that left DN, number 9. And as he squeezes down inside, he stays neutral. I like how that DN did that. But as he squeezes down inside, it's an easy give to Verdell, and then he just walks in, honestly, to the outside for the touchdown. Had he widened out, though, Anthony Brown, the quarterback, would have definitely kept the ball through the void that the DN created by widening. But in this case, it's an easy give handoff for the touchdown. All right. So there's just a look at how Oregon used the power read last season. And that's the reason why I chose Oregon as my thumbnail team for this particular video breakdown. So there you go. If you do want to learn more or watch more about Oregon's run game, though, I'll leave a link for a full clinic video from former Oregon and current Miami, Florida offensive line coach Alex Mirabal. Because if you remember, Mario Cristobal, the head coach at Oregon, left and is going to Miami, Florida, and he's bringing his O-line coach with him. Anyway, there's a really good full, like, hour-long video of just the Oregon run game. I don't know how much is dedicated to power read, honestly, because I haven't watched the whole thing. But if you want something, I'll leave. If you're interested in that, I'll leave the link in the description. Go check it out. And with that, though, I'll wrap up today's episode of the Power Read and 8-Man. And remember, if you have any questions for me, be sure to comment your question on this video. I'll get back with you as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new, please click subscribe and check out my previous videos here. It's all free. Remember that. And thanks again for watching, guys.